everyone. Yes, I vanished for a few months. I moved countries, again. So naturally, life turned into a side quest full of boxes, bubble wrap, and existential dread. But I've returned, slightly disorientated, with a better mic, and ready to create. Let me give you an update on what's been going on.
Good evening. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you a breaking story of international proportions. An incident at Auckland Airport security that has left one traveller shoeless, breathless, and falsely accused of smuggling contraband.
Thanks, Glenda. We're here at the scene of the chaos, where a young traveller, who shall remain nameless but very anxious, stepped through the metal detector, unaware that her journey was about to take a deeply dairy-related turn. As she stood in line in just her socks, our subject watched her boots and bag slide into the scanning machine. While up ahead, the suspicious bag zone loomed. It was at that moment, experts say, that intrusive thoughts took hold. The subject reportedly thought, what if I smuggled an enormous amount of drugs and just forgot?
Incredible. And did she?
No, she did not. But in the tense minutes that followed, she wasn't so sure either. No sooner had that idea entered her brain. She watched, horrified, as she was pulled aside for inspection. Eyewitnesses say the traveler's walk to the inspection bench was one of pure dread. Onlookers described her as suspiciously barefoot and visibly regretting all her life choices. The officer on duty reportedly instructed the subject to reshoe herself, before proceeding to thoroughly interrogate her bag in front of a live airport audience. What followed was an intense, hands-on inspection, groping the bag like it owed him money. All this culminating in the officer dramatically and loudly demanding,
"What's this? Cheese?"
It was not, in fact, cheese. Just a very dense box of cards, which, according to airport scanner lore, looks suspiciously dairy-esque.
A close call.
Indeed. The officer, visibly disappointed it wasn't a full cheese bust, dismissed her.
Incredible. And where is the traveller now?
Sources confirm she was released without charge and was last seen sprinting toward her gate, while the airport intercom repeatedly told her to please run faster. While she did not film the ordeal in its entirety, this was all she managed to capture.
A hero, a survivor, and a reminder to us all. Not all who wander without shoes are lost, but some are accused of cheese smuggling. More at 11.
The flight went smoothly, except for the moment we finally caught a glimpse of the stunning Sydney skyline, right as every baby on the plane decided to scream in chaotic harmony. Like many others, I've officially made the move to Australia, one more Kiwi who's jumped the gap in search of new opportunities. While my husband and I were staying in the CBD, we took some time to explore the city. For my birthday, we visited the Sea Life Sydney Aquarium to check out the Animal Crossing exhibition. I've been playing Animal Crossing since Wild World on the DS, so it was really special to take part in the stamp rally and to pick up some cute merch. During our aquarium visit, we actually got to see the staff carefully transporting rays to a new tank. They were so gentle and efficient, making sure the ray was comfortable the entire time. I love rays. They're one of my favorite animals. They get a bad reputation, especially in Australia, but I honestly think they're so full of character and oddly adorable. The stamp rally was such a fun idea. It really captured the spirit of the game. It was adorable watching the little kids take it so seriously, sprinting between the stations like they were in the middle of a bug-off. Honestly, I'd somehow forgotten how much kids love Animal Crossing too, so you can imagine my oblivious surprise walking into the rooms packed wall to wall with hyper kids and tired parents just trying to keep up. The gift shop had some surprisingly cute items. Besides the mugs and plushie, I spotted Lego sets, stationery, and shirts. The gift shop was really full and had some limitations on how many items you could buy. I ended up getting 2 mugs and a Blathers plushie, who now proudly sits on my desk with my other Animal Crossing collectibles. I kind of regret not getting the Brewster plushie too. He looked really cute. The view of Sydney Harbour with the iconic coat hanger bridge and the Opera House was genuinely impressive. Honestly, it's not a sight I ever imagined myself seeing in person, but I'm really glad I did. For some reason, I always thought the Opera House was just one big jagged shaped building. So I was surprised to see that it's actually made of several separate sail-like shells. Did anyone else think that too, or was that just me? We also visited both the Taronga Zoo and the Wildlife Sydney Zoo. It was incredible to see so many non-native and native Australian animals in person. One thing I really appreciated was how, before each show, the speaker acknowledged the traditional custodians of the land. Learning more about Australia's history and art is something I'm genuinely excited to dive into. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. My favourite animal so far? Definitely the Tasmanian devils. I expected them to be loud and a bit terrifying, but instead they looked like they'd just woken up from a long nap and had no idea what year it was. At the zoo, we saw a bunch of Australia's iconic animals, and a few surprises too. The kangaroos were all dozing in the sun, which made them seem a bit underwhelming. I guess I expected to see them bouncing around, but it turns out they spend most of their day napping. Apparently they can sleep up to 18 hours a day, so fair enough. The cassowary was a standout, mostly because it looked like a slightly unhinged aunt with dyed blue fringe and a mysterious past. But they're no joke. Cassowaries are considered one of the most dangerous birds in the world, with a powerful kick and sharp claws. The echidna was waddling around looking like a spiky little vacuum cleaner. Did you know echidnas are one of only 2 mammals that lay eggs? The other is a platypus. Then there was the Parma wallaby, who looked so cute and tiny, munching on fruit with a serene little face. They're one of the smallest wallaby species and were actually thought to be extinct until they were rediscovered in the 60s. We also spotted a tiny marsupial mouse perched in its food bowl, absolutely thriving. It looked so content just snacking away without a care in the world. At the Sydney Zoo, the koalas were placed near the dining area, so you could book to experience breakfast with the koalas. What they don't tell you though is how bad they smell. Imagine a mix of eucalyptus and pee. Not exactly ideal when you're trying to enjoy your meal.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
We also wandered through Chinatown and stopped for some delicious yakiniku at Matsusaka. The food was amazing and the staff was so friendly. They also have a great lunch deal, so if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend it. The whole atmosphere reminded me of my time in Singapore. The bustling food stalls, the energy, it all felt so nostalgic. Speaking of, I'll be visiting Singapore again soon, so keep an eye out for that vlog. We also went up the Sydney Tower Eye, and the view really gives you a sense of just how massive the city is. Out of all of the places, the view of Hyde Park from the Tower Eye was probably my favourite. I've walked through the park a few times, and while it's apparently nothing compared to the original Hyde Park in London, I think it's a lovely little escape from the city rush. There's something calming about sitting under the trees while traffic zooms past a few blocks away. These are some of my early thoughts about Australia so far. One of the first things I noticed, and really appreciated, is how accessible public transport is here, especially compared to New Zealand. The trains are super efficient, and it's nice not having to rely on a car for everything. Buses, though, are a different story. The buses here drive like they're in Fast and Furious, and the timing, wildly unreliable. It's kind of an adventure every time you hop on. We also made the classic mistake of packing for warm weather, even though we knew it was heading into winter. What we didn't expect, though, was just how cold the houses here get. I saw a comment on TikTok that said, Australians weren't sure whether to prep their homes for the harsh summer or the freezing winter, and so they did neither. And honestly, spot on. Apart from settling in our home, we're also getting ready to fly our dog Zyda over in the next few months. If you're curious about that process, or if you've ever done it yourself, let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk more about it in a future video. I popped into the Pop Mart store at the bottom of the tower too, and oh my gosh, the figurines were so cute. It was genuinely hard not to buy anything. Thank you so much for your patience while I settle into this new chapter and get everything reorganized. I'm really excited to start creating again and share more of my adventures with you. Thanks as always for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. At the zoo, we saw a bunch of Australians. Yeah, we did. The whole atmosphere reminded me of my time in Singapore. The bustling food stalls, the energy, the old people. The old people, I love old people.